I'm here to tell you all about how campus looked. Our first building was the big house that used to be there, and then the first new building we had built was around here or so, and then we built some more buildings over there and down there, and that's that. Okay, bye.
Wait, that's that? Don't you think you can provide us a little more detail?
I don't know, Richard. I think I was pretty thorough right there. Now everybody knows that there were buildings then, just as there are now. See?
Carl, people would like a little bit more detail.
I just gave loads of detail. How do you mean?
Please, folks, I am Richard Cadendall, class of 1873. My shorter and less insignificant friend over here.
Frederick Gieselman, class of 1872. In fact, I was one of the first year graduates to graduate Elmhurst ever.
It's true. We were here from the beginning.
Yeah, I know we had class together.
Then why not tell them that right here was where our first ever building was?
Originally known as the Melanchthon Seminary.
I know. Local Elmhurst, muckety-muck, Thomas Bryant, the richest man in all of DuPage County, donated 10 acres of property with the Melanchthon house on it, and then we showed up on December 6th and turned it into the Elmhurst Evangelical Pro Seminary. No details.
Good job, Carl.
The first building that we moved into was a beautiful farmhouse right before Christmas, 1871.
We lived in the attic. It was freezing. We always knew when winter began because we would wake up under a fresh blanket of snow.
It's true, we were practically stacked shoulder to shoulder in the attic and we needed more space. So on June 25th, 1873, we decided to dedicate our first official building, the music building.
Wait. The music building? What about that dorm we built ourselves in 1872?
The dorm? That was just a shack a couple of students threw together, Carl. The music building, or eventually called Old Hall, which you might know better as Kron's Hall, used to be right here.
The music building had our classrooms, apartments, and our first chapel, on top of some of our unmarried professors.
Those were our more legalistic types, or better said, boring types!
It's true, and Kron's also had a giant attic, which is where we used to live.
They always keep us in the attic!
And the basement had a kitchen and a dining room.
And soon after the music building was completed, the faculty and student population grew even more. The faculty board decided to raise more money in 1878. We decided to break ground on Main Hall! Main Hall!
Ta-da! Main Hall had everything. Classrooms, a new chapel, study rooms, fancy bedrooms so that students didn't have to live in some drafty attic anymore, and there was even a little apartment for our dear inspector.
Now that you know what the class of 1870s was like, the original housing became faculty housing, the students moved into Main Hall and music building.
The campus dining hall was also in the music building, and outside the kitchen, there was a squeaky old water pump where we got our water!
Our farm, where we all worked, was over on the west side of campus. We grew vegetables, we tended the livestock, and we snuck off to smoke our pipes. So, as you can imagine, farm work, pipe tobacco, and one old water pump, we all smelled real great. Natural earth musk.
Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren. I am Adam Schroeder, class of 1873, and I would like you to meet the best kept secret of Elmhurst history, the amazing psychic Gottlieb Andrae!
Hello, I'm Gottlieb, also class of 73.
Do not mistake his timid demeanor, folks, for Gottlieb is a fountain of facts and figures and can amazingly peer into the future. I wager $150 he cannot be stumped.
Yeah, it will cost $150 to attend Elmhurst from 1871 to 1930.
Amazing! How could you possibly know that?
I do not know, it's a gift, I suppose.
A gift indeed! We know we opened Main Hall in 1872. What will be the next official building?
Well, they built a dining hall called the Commons in 1896. It was built with a Melanchthon house then. The next building to be constructed in 1912 is to be called Ilion Hall.
See, ladies and gentlemen, facts from the future. Who even knows what it'll be like in the 1900s?
Women are allowed to attend Elmhurst College starting in the fall of 1930.
Wow, 1930? That is almost 60 years away.
Yeah, in fact, our first Dean of Women, Genevieve Stout, will be appointed in 1931. She will then be promoted to Dean of Students in 1948, which is when the college begins integrating other minorities as well.
Folks, it can't always be proven, but everything Gottlieb has predicted has been accurate. Back in 1872, Gottlieb predicted our dear Inspector Kronz would resign in 1875.
Did I mention that Reverend Philip Moich would take over until 1880?
Yes! Wait, why just until 1880?
Well, let's just say the first Elmhurst library will be in the basement of Main Hall and it will be dedicated as the Moich Library.
Oh, dear. Oh well. Let's move on. What about famous people? Do we ever have any famous people graduate?
Oh, yeah, many, but none more than Herr Reinhold Niebuhr, who graduated in 1910 and go on to be a very famous theologian and philosopher. He will be on the cover of Time magazine in 1948.
What is Time magazine? Never mind, I don't want to know. Oh, what about sports? Do we ever have sports here?
Indeed, the first baseball game at the college will be versus St. Vincent's in 1903. They will build a baseball diamond, potato and carriage fields on the northwest corner of the campus.
What was our team name?
At first, we were just called Elmhurst College, but in the 1930s, we were given the name the Pirates.
The Pirates?
Yeah, but in 1940, the students voted to change the name to the Blue Jays.
I like the Blue Jays. So I'm confused. Today we are the Evangelischen Pro Seminar, but you keep referring to us as Elmhurst College. Will we become this college in the future?
Yeah, in 1919, we become the Elmhurst Academy and Junior College. Oh, since most people just called us Elmhurst College, they formally changed the name in 1924.
Amazing. How could you possibly know?
When the school is formally accredited in 1934, there will be well over 200 students. By the time the school becomes a university.
A university?
Yeah, in the year 2020, there will be well over 3,500 students, and we become Elmhurst University.
The year 2020? 3,500 students? I cannot even comprehend what it must be like that far into the future.
Lots of growth after the Second World War.
Did you say Second World War?
Yeah, long story, but after that, Elmhurst will innovate on behalf of all veterans and will begin offering night classes for adult students.
Night classes? That is too much.
Elmhurst will even branch into offering master's degrees by the end of the 20th century. At the beginning of the 21st century, Elmhurst will offer a doctorate degree.
I can become a doctor at Elmhurst in the 21st century.
Of nursing.
Nursing? I do not understand!
No, it's fine, it's good. You'll be okay, you'll see. Thank you, everybody.
It was a cold Wednesday, December 6, 1871. There was a little snow on the ground when the Reverend Carl Kranz, who soon became our first president.
We called him Inspector!
Yes! Inspector Kranz arrived on this cold, lightly snowy Wednesday with 14 of his students.
Hey, that's us!
Yes, that is! My name is John H. Dinkelmeyer, class of 1872, and I am one of the first to ever graduate from Elmhurst.
And I'm Daniel Urian, class of 1874, and I became president of the college in 1887.
And I'm Gottlieb Stanger, class of 1873. Now, get on with it! Consign me to Hammond!
I am trying! We arrived here, well, over there at the Elmhurst train station with Reverend Kranz to establish a school.
So, guess which one?
We called it a pro-seminary, which is a school to teach young men, just like us, to enter the seminary.
And some of us are here to become teachers too.
Teachers for the Church of the German Evangelical Faith.
Which is why we started as the German Evangelical Pro-Seminary.
Or really, in German, we call it Evangelischen Pro Seminar.
We called it a lot of things. A seminary, an academy, a boarding school, a secondary school, and some of us just started calling it a college.
People believed when we got off the train, we just walked over here and built this school.
Like we were going to build a log cabin or something.
The truth is, we arrived, but our baggage car did not.
No clothes, no books, no furnishings, nothing.
Thomas Bryan had donated a lovely house atop 10 acres right over there, which we were supposed to move into.
Thomas Bryan was the richest man in all DuPage County. He helped found Elmhurst.
It's true. The house was originally the Melanchthon Seminary, which was founded here in 1869. The church councils from Missouri and Chicago, which we called the Synod of the West and the Synod of the Northwest, thus decided to merge and move from Evansville, Indiana to here.
Lucky for us, our baggage car arrived just before Christmas in 1871, and we moved into our lovely new home. We then started classes January 4th, 1872.
Inspector Kranz and our other professor lived in the main house, so all of us got to stay in the attic. It was freezing there all winter and sweltering all summer.
Yes, we behold the glamour because it builds character.
Yes, behold the glamour indeed.
You now know the story of how the Elmhurst Evangelical Pro Seminary was started in 1871.
In 1919, we became Elmhurst Academy and Junior College. Then, in 1924, we became Elmhurst College. Then,
Yes, everyone knows that in 2020 we became Elmhurst University. Now, please go visit some of our other students and learn even more about us.
I'm Henry Walser, class of 1873.
And I'm Henry Kruscop, also class of 1873.
And we are the Delightful Henrys.
And I'm Helmut Graper, class of 1873.
Want to know when the day in the life of an 1870 Elmhurst student looks like?
Sure, we all do.
First, we wake up at 5:30 a.m.
We get woken up by the hash bell.
Dang, 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 dang! Once we wake up, our first task is study time.
For a whole hour.
And then it's breakfast at 7. Spoilers, the food here is unsatisfactory.
The potatoes are greasy and the meat is not desirable.
Sometimes we get vegetables when they're in season.
We also have lots of bread and margin.
Bread!
For breakfast, we get coffee, fresh biscuits, and sweet, sweet molasses.
We get barrels of New Orleans molasses that's sweet syrup. I like it so much, I ask for it for dinner too.
We even have a syrup song.
Okay. From dear distant days, I think of syrup that once as a youth I so richly received. There on the table in a neat little jug, gave our sticky sweetness till it overflowed. Mornings and evenings and sometimes at lunchtime, there on the table prepared for our use. The syrup, the rich golden syrup that stuck to our fingers when mealtime was done.
Then, after breakfast, we have to make our beds. At 7:45 is our religious service, and till classes start at 8.
Classes go to noon, and we have lots of classes. First year students have 36 45-minute classes every week. But after the first session, we get to have dinner at 12:30. More bread!
We're on break until 2, then we're back in class until 4, which are harder to stay awake for.
Yeah, our professors mostly read to us right from their German textbooks and then expect us to memorize the entire textbook during study time.
Our finals are usually huge written exams, except for twice a year when we have oral exams.
Oral exams are the worst. At 4, it's time to work on the campus farm.
We milk the cows, tend to the livestock, work the gardens, and even work in the bake shop. More bread!
We work hard for an hour, and then it's study and music lessons.
Smelling like a farm until 6, when it's supper time, and if we're lucky,
the syrup, the rich golden syrup, which stuck to our fingers when mealtime was done. Then it's study, study, study until our nightly religious service.
And then it's lights out at 10. No sneaking, smoking, visiting the ladies in town.
and then we do it all again the next day. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So I'm sure you've heard plenty about our lovely university. Let me ask you something. You want to hear about the bad kids? Do you want to hear about the bad kids?
Yeah!
Of course you do.
All the cool kids smoke, but not all the cool kids are technically old enough to smoke.
Come on, we're all 18, aren't we?
Yeah, sure. So what we do is we get up before everyone else. We sneak out, go into the barn behind the potato sack. Yeah. You smoke a little bit of the devil's weed.
Remember when one of the older students got us?
I'm not a cool kid. Good thing we were hiding behind a bunch of potatoes. That way the older student got a lot lumpier that day.
Yeah. But good thing the inspector didn't catch up, because then it would be
10 demerits,
Mr.
Mr.
Carbach. Really, if you get 30 demerits, you get put on probation.
We call it put on CA, which stands for Condito. I got it. Condito
Abeduendi.
Condito abeduendi. I knew that. Which is Latin for condition to
No one cares.
which is Latin for condition to depart, which happened to a couple fellas who snuck into the barn one night and took apart the wagon.
Yeah. And then they put the wagon back up on top of the barn.
With the hitch pointed to the heavens.
10 demerits a person for that one.
Spectre loves giving out those demerits. 10 demerits for for sneaking into town.
Seriously, you need to get permission just to go into town, but strictly speaking, it's more of a challenge than restriction.
For you, Carabac, but hey, it's not as bad as it. I'm speaking to the ladies. It is strictly prohibited to speak to any ladies on campus.
It's written in the rules and regulations. Ladies must get permission by the director, blah, blah, blah,
Blah, blah, blah. 10 demerits for speaking to ladies, but it's always been worth it.
You can get demerits for drinking alcohol, swearing.
Slamity or hamity.
If you're over 18, you can smoke a pipe, but not cigarettes, tobacco, anything fun.
Yeah.
Oh, and good heavens, never miss study time to see a moving picture show. You can get demerits for just about anything, like hoarding molasses.
The syrup, the rich golden syrup!
Yeah.
Shut up!
Remember when John Moss and Roy Keller got in trouble for their whole little molasses scheme?
They had to live on bread and water 2 days straight. So, what John and Roy does is they put these 2 coffee cans underneath the tables at breakfast, and every single morning they fill it with as much molasses as they can cram in there. Not to mention they pocket any extra bread they can get their hands on.
Oh yeah, good times.
Every single morning, they would be eating bread, butter, and molasses, and the inspector would come by. He'd come over like, oh, where'd you get all the extra bread and water from? And then, and they'd smile, they'd shrug, and they'd pretend like they didn't know. Then spring comes along. They're doing the spring cleaning. They flip over the tables, and they find these 2 dirty, stinking old cans of molasses.
Disgusting. 10 demerits a person on that one. I thought they were gonna get shipped for sure.
Shipped means expelled.
Yeah.
What can you do? People love their molasses here. Say, have you guys heard the syrup song yet?
I'm sure they've heard plenty of the syrup song by now, Shabbat. You know, Roy Keller actually ruined an entire barrel of New Orleans molasses when he got caught sneaking into the kitchen. He dove out the window.
Out the window.
out.
He fell in the barrel.
Into the barrel.
And he sunk like a rock.
Like a rock.
That was right before finals, which reminds me of when somebody found dynamite caps all over the railroad.
Somebody who was really looking to get shipped for sure.
Oh, me. Couldn't be.
Sure. So somebody takes these blasting caps, puts it on the front steps of the West Building, goes all the way up to the 3rd floor, takes a brick, drops it out the window. Bam! And then comes Weigold running around campus going,
Oh, Professor Weichel! Somebody shot themselves in fear they wouldn't pass their finals!
good times. Anyway. Anyone care for a smoke?
Yeah, come on, go on out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, local Elmhurst muckety-muck philanthropist, famous person, Mr. Thomas Bryan.
Good evening, fellow citizens. I am Thomas Bryan, philanthropist, community leader, and businessman. It is with great honor that I welcome the Reverend Carl Kranz to our village of Elmhurst, Illinois. Reverend Kranz has just been named the inspector of our beloved Melanchthon Pro Seminary, as of today to be now known as the Elmhurst Evangelical Pro Seminary. Guten Tag, hello! Inspector Kranz has only just arrived today on the train with 14 of his students from Evansville, Indiana. An unfortunate mishap occurred as their baggage freight did not arrive with them. So, our friends at the church in Churchville have allowed our friends to stay till such time that their baggage arrived. That said, today, December 6th, in the year of our Lord, 1871, I decree the founding of Elmhurst Evangelical Pro Seminary. Reverend Kranz, would you care to say a few words?
Ja, danke schön. Greetings. It is my sincere pleasure to be welcomed by so many in this beautiful village. I've selected a verse from Psalm 118. This is the day which the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Save now, I beseech thee, O Lord, I beseech thee, send now prosperity.
Wunderbar!
I would like to give thanks to the Synod of the West and the Synod of the Northwest, in their collaborations in moving myself and my outstanding students from our humble teaching pro-seminary in Evansville, Indiana to here.
That is wonderful,
So I
Inspector.
ask, what is the meaning of this enlarged institution to our synodical life? There are 6 paramount points which I would like to make.
Very good, very good. Perhaps we can make those on January the 4th. For those who'll be here for our first day of classes in our lovely new home. Presuming the freight car finds its way here with our young men's things.
These 6 points I consider of great importance to our synodical life. Consciousness, honor, proficiency, growth, charity, responsibility.
That is really...
It is clear to every Christian that we live in times of horror and great earnestness. World revolutions of past centuries are repeating themselves in the daily life of humanity, not, however, bringing order out of chaos. Within the pale of humanity, a tempestuous roar is heard, and the ground on which we stand trembles as though volcanic eruptions were threatened. The power and kingdom of hell is known by many today. Demoniacal powers are revealed daily. The children of God look upon the work of destruction with the anger and the grief of the psalmist. They would see God's power increase in speed. They would see the dawn of a new era before they pass to eternal rest. But God's mills grind slowly.
Yes! Thank you,
No
Inspector!
matter where we stand, whether in peaceful times and is a goal of the world's history, an incredible responsibility rests upon us as individuals and upon our dear evangelical pro-seminary.
That is very...
We are charged to testify and confess, to beg and pray, to suffer and trust, to stand shoulder to shoulder with all corporations and engage all our powers in the work of our Lord. So long as it is day, for we have a synodical responsibility.
Indeed, we do.
This responsibility has urged us to build this house, and this house urges us to shoulder our responsibilities with a deeper sense than ever before, and to prove it through our actions. In this institution, we must teach the right thing and teach it right, so that we may become strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Oh Lord, I beseech thee, send now thy prosperity!
Amen! Thank you, Inspector Cron! For those many words! A very thoughtful and fitting way to begin our academy for our young men. Thank you all for joining us here tonight.
Thank you. The Sesquicentennial Players!